This podcast is brought to you by Podcast Nation.
And I remember it was the Sunday romper. Jillian Harris wore it. We sold out overnight. I only made like 80 of them. And it sold out. And I remember thinking like, okay, what do? I have all this traffic. I have no product. I can try to sell the stuff that's not as exciting to people, or maybe I could pre-order, take people's money, and then I can make more rompers for them.
Welcome to Officially Influenced. I'm your host, Clio de la Llave, founder of Bouge Media and Podcast Nation. This podcast is for creators looking to amplify their message. We're pulling back the curtain on an often mysterious industry to share the insights you need to grow your brand. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the second episode of Officially Influenced. Today, we are welcoming a friend, and she's someone who truly embodies what it means to build a brand that's rooted in authenticity and community. She's awesome. She is Ashley Freeborn, the founder of SMASH TESS. If you're not familiar with SMASH TESS, they're the powerhouse behind that iconic romper. And it is a brand that has redefined comfort, confidence, and inclusivity in fashion. What started as an idea to create effortless, feel-good clothing has really turned into a movement that celebrates women of all shapes, sizes, and stages of life. I'm so excited to dive into this conversation as she has built such a loyal community, and as she really understood the power of partnering with the right influencers as a launch pad to take her brand to the next level. At Bouge Media, we've had the opportunity to keep working with her and her amazing team with some of our content creators to create capsule collections that they can feel really excited to share with their followers. In today's conversation, we talk about how SMASH TESS began, how Ashley spotted an opportunity to serve women who weren't being represented, and really how influencer collaborations have helped her grow more than just a company, but a movement that is really inspiring and it's impactful. Ashley, from the day that I met you, I was sucked into your personality. You're so magnetic, you're so positive, and I'm just so happy that I get to share some of that with our listeners today. So welcome to Officially Influenced.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm just happy to be reunited with you.
Well, I secretly invited you on the podcast hoping that you would bring me some SMASH TESS, and you did.
And I did. I delivered, babe.
I'm obsessed. I love it so much. It's so comfy. I'm not taking it off.
Okay, good.
Okay, Ashley, we're going to talk a lot about you. But the first question, since this is the Officially Influenced podcast, I want to know, what does the word influence mean to you?
When I think of influence, I think of impact. I don't know why. They're both I words, but mostly because I think it's always a measurement of how impactful is somebody in my life, you know? And I am not one to be easily influenced, but if there's something I can relate to, learn from, be inspired by, then, you know, that's influence to me.
Great answer. We're starting
I'm
strong
a little
here.
rusty.
No, we're starting strong.
Okay.
Your background is not the fashion world.
No.
And so I think it'd be awesome to give a little bit of an introduction and especially how you started SMASH TESS.
I was a high school teacher for 10 years, and I think I always wanted to be in fashion. But growing up in the 90s, it wasn't something readily apparent that you could just become an entrepreneur. I feel like becoming an entrepreneur meant you're going to own a store or you're going to have a shop or a cafe. Social media wasn't as pervasive. In fact, it was barely around, right? Until I'd kind of already decided what I was going to do with my life, which was to become a teacher. For me, I always liked the idea of community, creating a safe space, somewhere where people could feel comfortable and loved and supported and all of it. So teaching felt like the right move, but I always loved fashion. And it was something my mom and we would go to New York every year and pick out our matching PJs. And we just always loved it. And after almost a decade in teaching, I realized I was getting burnt out. There felt like there was something more for me. And I was going through this rocky breakup. And my mom was like, oh my gosh, Condé Nast has a summer intensive in London. You should go. felt like the right time. So I got on a plane. I went to London. It was through Vogue and I did this crash course, and turns out I wasn't very good at anything there except for business. Everything else was challenging for me. I didn't know how to design a magazine cover. Styling a shoot was way more challenging than I thought, but the business side really got me excited. And so that's really where SMASH TESS as a business plan was born. But I think it really came out of the idea of marrying community and the everyday woman with fashion, because we went through these phases of heroin chic and this unattainable fashion era. And I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something where the everyday woman felt reflected in the brand and the clothes. And I really wanted to just simplify the lives of women everywhere. And that's kind of where SMASH TESS evolved from.
So you saw a gap in the market that wasn't being served?
Yeah. I felt like in the past, it was always the Anna Wintours or people deciding what was fashionable. And instead, I wanted to make it more social. We decide what's cool. We decide what's comfortable, all at the click of a button. So even when 2014 is when the business plan was written, online, I think Lulu didn't even build an online platform till 2009 or something like that. I didn't even have an Instagram account. I was a teacher. I was like, I don't want social media. So it was
I
all
want the kids to see what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's terrifying to think about. It was all really foreign to me, and online shopping was still kind of new. It was not what it is today. And same with influencer marketing and all of that. That was really, really new at the time.
And we are going to dive into influencer marketing. The first time that we met, it was actually during COVID. We were both from Vancouver. We moved to LA, got introduced. I do think a really good idea also needs to be paired with the right timing.
Yes.
I remember learning all about SMASH TESS. I'm like, it's COVID. Everyone's inside. Everyone wants to be in the comfiest outfit, but also look cute. Do you feel like COVID for you was
an accelerant? Absolutely. Yeah. It was wild. We went to market in 2016, and we had a very non-traditional business start because I think it takes people a lot longer. But I always say, our first person of influence was Jillian Harris, and she really 6 months in was a supporter of ours, and we catapulted. But really it was we were on a rocket ship for the first couple of years, and then COVID hit, and then it was right time, right place, right channel online. And Vancouver wasn't locked down, which is where we were producing and where we were fulfilling. So whereas a lot of other companies were kind of stuck, not being able to fulfill the demand, we were just pumping out rompers. It was wild.
Really the perfect formula.
It really was. And also all the celebs, all actors, and everyone was home. No one was working. And that's when we saw a lot of celebrity traction. We saw Hilary Duff first wear it, post it. It was during COVID because they were home. I remember Naomi Watts did a whole day in my romper. And it was just because these people who were so used to creating and being busy, all of a sudden took to social media to do it because they were home and bored and all of it.
Jillian Harris was the first influencer. And then I remember around the time that we went for dinner, I think you were just working on the collaboration with Hilary Duff.
Yeah.
How is that different? Because obviously being in the space, there are different partnerships between influencers and celebrities.
Yeah.
What was the difference that you noticed working with Hilary Duff?
Well, I think with what worked really well, and she was one of our biggest successes, was that even though if you follow her on Instagram, she is an iconic celebrity, she has this element to her where she's relatable, she's aspirational, but she's down to earth. She shares, her messy kitchen. She's not afraid to kind of just be herself. So we were really lucky in that way, whereas she was used to sort of just going on Instagram and being herself. Whereas I think a lot of celebs, that's where they're challenged because they're used to being in movies, or their Instagram is not necessarily where they're most comfortable or want to create. So I think with Hilary, the biggest learning there was just all of a sudden to be dealing with California-based agents. And I remember just being so intimidated. And on top of it, it was COVID. So we did a launch party in her backyard with my entire team doing tech remotely from Vancouver because you couldn't cross the border for 17 months.
You still remember it's 17 months.
17 months because, I had a baby during COVID, and I couldn't get home to Canada for my family to meet them without quarantining.
So crazy to go back to
wild.
that time.
It was so wild. It was like it happened, but it never happened. It's such a bizarre time.
And it might have been just serendipitous. Like you said, it now gave someone like Hilary Duff the time to focus on something that she was excited about
Yeah.
and then do this capsule collection.
It was just a dream working with her from the beginning. Like I met her in her backyard. It was just super organic, easy to chat with her. She started creating right away. It was honestly such a highlight for me in my career. Yeah.
There's really a theme that I'm noticing in terms of people that are influential or, people that tend to convert well are the ones that are very authentic. I think part of the reason why Jillian Harris is so successful, and you're saying, Hilary, that's so true. She's so relatable. She'll show the mess in the kitchen. So for any content creators listening to this, what would be your advice about really being authentic or finding that a voice that they can share with so that people connect with them?
Yeah, I found that early on, even through building SMASH and TESS online. I mean, we were able to really grow the brand organically. So much of the brand was we didn't pay for ads. We were just being our silly selves on Instagram. From the beginning, I never really curated too much. I never edited too much. So I think that's the key is if you can really just show up, like I always say, just record it and don't listen to it. It's like your voicemail and no one wants to hear their own voice.
No.
And I think that's where people get stuck is they record something, then they watch it. Oh, I don't like it. My hair looks weird. My rule is generally like we just did. It's like we just did a story. It's like we do the story, we throw it up. I don't even sometimes watch it ever again. It's in the moment. It's like you want people to feel like they're right there with you in that moment. So I think that's the key is just letting people in and not overdoing it. A lot of people will be like, I had to do my hair and my makeup. And with Caitlin Bristow, another great example, right? Like she's on there, she's bearing her soul. She's just like, this is who I am, like it or not, this is who I am. And I think we all want to just get to know the real people. And I think with Jillian or Caitlin, what you see is what you get. You see them
Absolutely.
online, you meet them in person, that's exactly who they are.
Everyone's going through struggles.
Yeah.
And then to see that reflected in people that you look up to or follow every day, it normalizes it. It's interesting to hear what you just said, film it and just put it up. I've noticed that your SMASH and TESS account that has how many followers now? Is it 350,000 followers for a brand? And then you do that so organically as well. You can tell like you're always showing all the different pieces and what you like and what you don't. And it's not overthought and it's very real and authentic. And then so that creates a different trust with that brand and with that creator.
Yeah.
And so with you too, that everyone following you is very loyal, but very interested in what you have to say.
Yeah, that's the thing. And if you're constantly putting on a show, then people can see through it and they're not as likely to care, about your opinions on your favorite lipstick or your favorite, right? So it's like you really have to gain the trust of your community. And I think that's just about keeping it real as much as you can. And if you use a filter, be like, I'm using a filter. It's okay. Be honest about what it is that you're doing. And I think people will follow. And if I think about Jillian, she converts more than many celebrities. Like it's wild how much she converts. And it's because she honestly gives reviews and people want to know what she thinks about things. And then they want to buy those things because they believe her.
So we've actually been lucky enough to work with you on multiple occasions with Caitlin. We also did, I think, with Tay Lautner. And it's really fun doing those capsule collections. That's very much a influencer dream is to do those more long-term partnerships, do like a capsule collection. That's a longer lead time.
Yes.
But I think that's something that our influencers love about working with you is that it does have more of that longevity piece.
Yeah.
I want to dive more into how SMASH and TESS as a company finds the content creators that you want to create a capsule collection with, since that is a much bigger lift for the company. Can you tell us what that looks like?
Yeah, it's a really unique vehicle because a lot of influencers, content creators, they're creative in their own way and they're creating content or whatever it is their skills are, but they may want to do clothing and they might be amazing at doing it, but creating a vehicle for them to express that's a business and it's really hard to do. I always say collaboration's queen. I think that's a women's superpower is that we work together and to be able to come together with creative energy, create something that you're both really proud of, have fun, laugh, enjoy the whole process. is really special and unique. And it's something that I feel drives me personally in the business because it's always new. It's always exciting. I will say this, I've never been one for sort of generic campaigns. What's interesting to people is if you're, I don't know, a Caitlin Bristow fan, having something that she uniquely created is really special. It's like, I love this girl. I love what she stands for. And now I get to wear something that she made. And I think that's exciting, even if it's just curating a capsule, even if it's an influencer coming in and being like, I picked this, 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 these are my favorites. And maybe you have a deal for them to promote those because they pick those things. They legitimately love those things. So I think that that's where the power lies, is really having that personal touch on the clothes versus just like, oh, this is my face.
Yeah. And it makes them more excited to promote it. They feel part of it. It's like true collaboration,
Yeah, sense of ownership, right?
Yeah. Okay. So advice for content creators that are looking for brand partnerships. What are the things for you that really stand out from someone that you're like, I would love to work with them again?
A few things. Engagement is really important. We get really stuck on numbers. And I think at the end of the day, it's like, no. We want someone whose community is totally engaged. They're commenting, they're watching, the views are high. And then from there, it's like, how much is that content creator willing to sort of give for the deal? And I think you can really tell when someone's sort of mailing it in, doing the bare minimum versus doing a little above and beyond, having fun. Like for me, that's with Smash and Tess. It's like, we always want to be smiling. We always want to be enjoying life. And so I think finding that right vibe of somebody who's like, I love doing what I do. I get to try on these clothes and talk about this brand that I love. It's like, so we're always looking for that synergy. I'm very good friends with content creators too, on both sides of the fence. And I am a content creator myself. What I hear from them is, let me be me in the content I'm creating. And I'm like, yes, this is what they do too. So I think there's a certain amount of fun and trust, and all of it goes both ways. If you are that content creator, is figuring out really authentic ways to connect with the brand, because that will sell more and the brand will be happier.
You see it from a really good lens, because if you let them be themselves, it'll probably perform better.
Yeah.
But I also get that some agencies, like, they've been burned and they're like, we need to get these talking points, but the content will never, I don't think, be the same type of quality, especially when you're looking for people that, love your product. So that will come through.
You do have to let go a little bit, which is always scary as a brand. But I think all I can say from the creator side is to just really advocate for your sense of style and like what it is that you do, really having a sense of who you are, who your community is, what really spikes engagement for you, so that you can say, you know what, I know maybe you want this reel. Actually, my carousels with music does better. This is why. Here's an example. And like really getting to own that process. But you kind of have to back it up too.
As a content creator, this is your business, and you should start to understand, like, when do you get those engagement spikes? When does your content perform the best?
Totally.
And being able to speak to that, and whether it's you or it's your team, if you're working with a team.
Yeah, exactly. I remember the best surprise. I was shooting with Melissa Gisoni, who was a dance mom, if anyone ever watched that show. And we were shooting in LA, and we had done a whole day of shooting. And then I was like, oh, let's try this funny thing. I heard this thing that if you gallop and laugh, you get the perfect still photos. So we're doing this reel outside, and we're legitimately laughing and galloping. You can see it on my feed if you look. And I remember I literally in that moment, I was like, let's just post it. So we filmed it, we posted it. I mean, it has 35 million views.
35 million?
Yeah. It was on Good Morning America. I remember watching, just being like, what is happening? And then all of a sudden, all these people I didn't know in different languages commenting. And I was like, we're going viral, like crazy viral. So it's so funny because also you can plan all of these like beautifully curated things. And this goes back to what I was saying, like, just post it, because sometimes too, you'll post something and never think for a second that it will be as viral as it will. And then it happens overnight, and things change for you. So
isn't it funny? The ones that go viral are literally what you least expect.
Yeah, it was wild. And it was just overnight. I remember waking up being like, oh my God, it already has 10 million. Well, little did I know it was going to be 35 million around the world. So sometimes it's like that balance between really knowing your style and knowing what will connect. And I see this often where someone will be like, oh, it's cool right now to, I don't know, be body positive. So I'm going to post this reel. And you're just like, oh, that's not really what I know you for, or what I connect to you for. And it's like they're trying to fit themselves into something that maybe they just never were doing and it's an awkward fit. So
Yeah.
I think it's more about authenticity. And then you get that data to be like, oh, okay. So actually when I post about XYZ, this is what really hit. Don't over curate it. And I think it's hard because, it's a popularity you'll see and be like, it got no likes. Like, oh,
As long as it feels good to you, you got to try things to see what's
exactly.
sticky.
That's how you know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that you're describing your relationship with social media and how to get content out there, I think is also reflective of your brand, Smash and Tess. It's a very relatable brand that a lot of women see themselves wearing the clothes, and you're influencing a group of women to wear clothes that potentially people wouldn't wear 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You really have a style that has really hit, and you've kind of made it a trend.
Mm-hmm.
How did that all begin, and how do you choose what you put out there?
Yeah, I mean that it was again one of those things where I'm like, oh, we'll do like the Sunday romper for fall. I think everyone has a time in their career where it's something like this happens where, something unexpectedly kind of takes off. And I remember it was the Sunday romper. Jillian Harris wore it. We sold out overnight. I only made like 80 of them and it sold out. And I remember thinking like, okay, what do? I have all this traffic. I have no product. I can try to sell the stuff that's not as exciting to people, or maybe I could pre-order, take people's money, and then I can make more rompers for them. It just happened so organically that we pivoted hard into the thing that everyone seemingly wanted. So it's really about creating a dialogue with the community versus just like deciding for people what's cool. It's like, wait a minute, what do people really want? And I think social media is beautiful for that too, because if you don't just use it as a megaphone, but use it as a way to connect and understand. We'll do polls all the time. Like, what's your favorite color? If you were going to do this, see this romper, would you like these 3 colors? Which ones? So just really understanding what women want instead of just telling them what they want. There's a blend between the two because our customer, our community, they do need a little usually help in styling, or, they're not the most fashion forward. It's more of like the busy woman who's like, what do I wear? I don't want to think about it. Help me. And that's what we create as styles that are comfortable. That's our design DNA. So it's letting women feel put together and like chic, but not having to try so hard. Pivoting and listening is really the magic.
I love that approach. I think that's no wonder Smash and Tess has been so successful. And if you take a step back, you're almost saying it's like influence isn't necessarily just picking something and putting it out there and being the trendsetter. Influence can really be about listening to your community and seeing like what people want, because if you can make it a two-way conversation, it's more likely to be more successful.
Exactly. You always need an aspirational element because we're all trying to evolve. That's what makes us human, right?
Okay, so let's do a quick lightning round called Influenced by You. I'll ask you a few questions and you just tell me what's influencing you right now. What is one product that you're obsessed with right now?
I'm obsessed with, honestly, it's not new, but it's my cocoa butter from Body Shop. And I hope that they don't go completely out of business or I'm really screwed.
You should just stock up and get like 50.
I already have. Don't
perfect.
worry.
You're on it.
I'm on it.
Instagram Reels, Stories, or TikTok?
I'm not into TikTok. Sadly, I think I'm old. I'm trying to get into it. So I'm going to go with Reels.
What is one fashion trend that you're loving right now?
I'm loving socks with loafers.
I love that too. Okay, what's one fashion trend that you're skipping entirely?
Low-rise pants. I'm skipping low-rise. No, I'm not doing it. We fought hard to have high-waisted pants.
We did. We fought
long and hard, and I'm not going backwards.
No, we are not. What's the most recent follow that you're obsessed with?
Okay, so I've known her for a long time, but I've really just started to like, it gets fed to me in my algorithm. Laurel, and I can't say her last name. I think it's Isabart. She is chaos and cowgirlin', and her farm content is everything to me. It makes me laugh, and like the saddest day, I find her so just hilarious, fresh, cool, and I love her style too.
Wow, well, you just influenced me because I'm for sure going to be following her.
Yes.
It is working, Ashley.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for being on Officially Influenced. You are the best. And now we deserve to go have a cocktail.
Heck yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.
Thanks,
Ashley.
Thanks for having me.
Also, too, maybe if you can let everyone know where they can find SMASH and TESS and follow, because this is also a follow that you want to do.
Yes. You can find SMASH TESS at SMASH TESS. And you can find me at A Freeborn. Just how it sounds, free then born. Yeah.
And we will obviously include it in the show notes. But thank you so much. It's so fun.
Thanks
Mike,
for having
cheers.
me. Cheers.
Next week, I'm sitting down with Bailey, founder of Quickies Nails and former founder of Play Digital. Bailey is someone who's truly been ahead of the curve in influencer marketing and long before it became what it is today. She's worked on both sides of the industries, building brands, running an agency, and now creating a product-led business that's doing influencer partnerships the right way. And maybe she's worked on 3 sides of the industry. In our conversation, we get into what influence actually means from a founder's perspective, how creators can elevate their brand partnerships, and what makes a creator someone brands want to work with over and over again, and how influencer marketing has shifted, especially in the beauty space. If you're a creator, a brand, or just curious about what really moves the needle, then this is the episode for you. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening to Officially Influenced. If you enjoyed this episode, then don't forget to follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with someone who might like it too. Until next time, stay inspired and stay influenced.